Yeah, we in the building. Yeah. All right. And we have another week of Gente My People. And I know we was on a little bit of a 2-week furlough, but we're back and on track. Doing this thing every Saturday at 2 o'clock with your host, Claudia C.C. Perez in the building. And word up. Claudia, let me get a mic check. Claudia.
Hey, everybody.
There you go.
Oh, I'm happy to be here. I missed everybody.
Yeah.
I missed being on the air, so I just want to apologize about that. You know, things happen in life, but we're here, we're back, and we're making a valiant effort to make sure that we stay here.
Yeah, absolutely.
On time.
So quick question. What's been going on with you the last 2 weeks? You seem like you've been a little bit of a busy bee. So what's been happening?
Yeah. Oh, let me talk about the vaccination.
Okay. Let's go.
So, the vaccination site for me happened to be a neighboring NYCHA development, which is Johnson Houses. Shout out to Miss Ethel Velez, who's the TA president over there. Our vaccine site was set up there. They had nothing.
Oh, wait, somebody liked it. Carmen Keona is liked.
Yes.
Carmen Keona shared your stream. There it is. So it pops up. So whenever it happens, it pops up on the screen and makes that noise.
Oh, epa. Look at that. We getting there, y'all. We getting there, y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you. Just stay tuned in. But yeah, that Johnson, I got the Johnson & Johnson shot. So I actually got it on the 2nd of this month. And the thing about the any vaccine, after the shot in the arm, it takes 21 days for you to become fully inoculated. Okay. That's what I did find out. I got 4 more days and then I could relax a little, not too much, you know. I think I'll be more comfortable at least coming indoors and maybe doing the show without a mask. But one of the things I might tell you with this Johnson & Johnson shot, it got really scary because, you know, as we all know, they stopped it.
Right.
And I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. So once they stopped it and you started hearing all this misinformation, it's a lot of misinformation about the vaccine going out there. But I think one of the biggest things that people need to realize, it was creating blood clots.
Right.
So we all know blood clots are not good. But we also have to understand that it was one person out of every 1,000 persons
right.
that this happened to. So when they stopped it, it made people scared, and I feel a lot more people are now more hesitant to take it. And why I chose the Johnson & Johnson, stick me once, don't stick me twice.
Right.
You know, I at first I was hesitant. I didn't want to take it. And I was like, no, because, you know, I'm not going to be around people. But I realized if I'm going to be out there and this is out there for us to stay safe, I might as well take the precautionary measures to do it.
Right.
I would advise people to stick with the Moderna and the other shots that are out there.
Okay.
But the Johnson & Johnson, let's talk about side effects. Okay.
And I want to know, have you had any side effects?
My side effects lasted for approximately 5 days.
Okay. What'd you have going on?
From the first time I took it, I was feeling kind of loopy.
Okay.
Like an hour after, I was feeling kind of loopy. Then later on, I started getting sweats. So basically, it felt like the back end of a cold.
Okay.
You know, like when you're getting rid of it and you just feel it like in your nasal passages. It felt like the back end of a head cold.
Right.
So after that first, because I took it on a Friday, Saturday I was messed up. That's why we didn't do the show. And it was like my stomach. I hate to say it like that, but you spend a lot of time in the bathroom.
Right.
Because it really works on your stomach. And I was worried. But then they told me, well, you know, for you to be getting these symptoms means that it's working.
Okay. Okay. All right.
They said it's working. It's very similar to the flu vaccine.
Right.
So if you see me start growing 3 eyes and 10 toes, I hate to say it like that, but you know,
will know not to take
I'm
the
gonna
Johnson
practice
&
what I
Johnson.
not just Johnson and Johnson.
Oh, any of that.
Yes, because once I thought about it, remember they had the cancer scare too. So but the major thing about it is that you are going to have side effects no matter which vaccine you take.
Right.
With the Moderna, some people took it. The first shot had no symptoms. The second shot, they feel lousy.
Right.
And versus the Johnson & Johnson, remember, with the other one, you're taking it in 2 doses.
Right.
The Johnson & Johnson is a one-shot deal, so you're getting everything
In
at
one-
one time.
Right.
So it's going to be a greater effect on you.
Okay.
I wouldn't exit, but if you're going to be out there in the community, I do advise it.
Okay. I mean, listen, I'm with, people, protecting themselves, and it's been I've been very vocal about not taking the vaccine, but I've also been very vocal about it being my choice. You know what I'm saying? You got to make your choice. You do what you got to do. I mean, my roommate, Rocky D, Sammy, he took the vaccine. He took the first shot about 2 weeks ago. Thursday, he got his second shot, and he feels lousy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I had a little bit of a concern because I was like, all right, well, if you're going to develop any symptoms from this thing, are you, because you're symptomatic, are you contagious? And they said, no, he's not contagious. He's just going to feel basically lousy.
Okay, I will tell you, if you go online and you YouTube it, the way that these scientists explained it, it's like, it's very similar to DNA, and it's called RNA. So basically, it's not the virus itself,
Right.
but it's something, a structure of it. It's not the sickening part of it.
Yeah, it's not.
So basically, once that gets into your system, you start developing antibodies to fight it. So when corona, if you ever do come down with it, it wouldn't be so severe as we saw in the beginning when this pandemic hit. And that's the main thing everybody has to realize. We are still in the middle of a pandemic. It's not over.
In your chat room, Maria says, I just got my second dose of Moderna. Maria, how's it going? I mean, is that second dose of the Moderna, has it affected you? Because the second shot that Sammy got, Rocky got, he's been sleeping. For the last 2 days.
You do enter a slumber.
Yeah,
You're tired, lethargic.
He went to bed the other day at 6:30 in the afternoon, and he goes to bed normally around 9:10. 6:30 in the afternoon, he's out, and he was out all night. Never woke up. Woke up the next morning. We talked a little bit. He's like, "Yo, I'm going back to sleep." Yeah, so that's been his little side effect.
It is like a heavy flu. I will say that, but it's light. And then what also happened was, after that initial Saturday where it was the worst, like the day after was the worst for me. When you got into Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, it was times like I felt better, and then all of a sudden it was like, wait a minute, your stomach start, and then you start feeling like your nasal passages. It's like, wait a minute, sort of like, remember when we had the flu, before the flu shot. Remember when you had the flu and how you had it for a longer period of time before COVID actually hit? You used to have the flu and then you get better, and then all of a sudden it felt like the symptoms just came back on. That's the process I would compare it to.
Okay.
But it's a 5-day process with the Johnson & Johnson shot. But I'm due for a checkup coming up really soon, so I'll keep y'all posted. I'm pretty sure I'm well, and I feel a lot better. It made me more confident in coming out, actually, because the trains was really crowded today.
Yeah. So here's my question. I mean, in terms of what's going on in NYCHA, are we aware of what the numbers are in terms of percentages of people in NYCHA that are actually getting the vaccine? Because from what I understand, just universally as minorities, we are far behind in terms of actually participating in getting the vaccine.
I find that we have lots of participation. The rollout process of this is bad as usual.
Okay.
I hate to say it that way, but the rollout process of it is because you call to make an appointment. Like my process itself, they gave me the paper and they said, okay, Johnson & Johnson 1-shot vaccine will be given at this location. Call this number. So I called the number. When I first called the number, nobody picked up. Mm-hmm. So that was the first day. So let's say I got it on a Monday. They was scheduling vaccination appointments on Tuesday. So from Tuesday, I'm calling because that's the day you're supposed to open up, and you either get a Thursday, Friday, or Saturday or Sunday.
Right.
Yes, they giving it out in Johnson houses from Thursday to Saturday. So again, I'm calling and I couldn't get through. So finally, I called again, and they told me, okay, we're not taking appointments right now. So then I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. I called somebody else and I'm like, look, I'm calling around and they're telling me that first they weren't picking up. Then they're telling me, oh, we don't have appointments right now.
Okay.
So then they told me, no, call that number back. So reluctantly, I did call the number back. And this is a process of like 2 days. Uh-huh. This is a Tuesday straight into a Wednesday, right? So here it is. I call again. It's later. So now somebody picks up, and the operator on the phone, she took all my information, and then she tells me, well, if you have medical insurance, bring your medical insurance card anyway, because we're not supposed to charge you, but if you have insurance, we would like to charge the insurance. So it's a lot of mixed information that's going out there. And then, so I finally did go get my shot, but when I got there, they didn't ask me for any other information that the lady, it wasn't correlating with the phone call, because here it is, you telling me bring my medical information along with my my card. Yeah. And I get there, I don't need that. They had me in the computer. Right. You understand? And then I got my appointment. Then you had others who went through that same process, wasn't on the computer, had to show an email. Mm-hmm. So now when you come talking about seniors aren't tech savvy. Seniors aren't tech savvy at all. Yeah. It's very hard making the appointments to get this. The information is out there. And like I said, it's another time previously before I was able to get an appointment, they would throw out like a blast telling you, oh, it's a pop-up and you could just walk in. We have X amount of shots. No matter who shows up gets a shot. Here it is. I ran over there. Guess what? Oh, you have to make an appointment. So I will just say that the system needs to get cleaned up about getting the vaccinations. And that's the hesitancy of it all. Because I see a lot of people wanting to take the vaccination in my sites. So
if you can answer the whole question if you know the whole question, because I'm kind of curious. What was the percentage of people in NYCHA that, like, or in your building, you would say, how many people in your complex had corona or contracted corona, or even died from corona? I'm just sort of curious.
There are no statistics stating how many people die from coronavirus in NYCHA. Okay. There are apartments right now that are vacant because people has passed away, and then you have people who just come in and take over the apartment that NYCHA doesn't know about. Right. So you have a backlog. We don't know. Those statistics are not known.
And I think it's an important statistic to have.
It is very important, but those statistics are not known, like the death toll, the death rates. Right. Like we could tell you just by the people who we don't see anymore and no families to get the story, but to get like specific data, we don't have that.
Yeah, and I think that's really important. Carmen says they have no clue. These pop-up sites, they have no advertisement, just like we're here. Oh, just like we're here. Okay, got it. At Douglas, and they're doing 10 shots a site. 10 shots a site. Crazy. Been telling them off. She said, I've been telling them off for the last 2 weeks. They really don't know what they're doing. Enough people have died, but just like Claudia said, we don't actually know.
I will say, like, each vial, and that's even what they did with the drugstores that are giving out. With those small vials that you see, each vial contains 10 shots.
Oh, one.
One vial contains 10 shots.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you have 2 vials, that's how
That's
many
20 shots.
20 shots. You know how many you're going to be able to get.
Right.
And another thing is that when you have these pop-up sites, right? Then you have this medication sometimes that which expires really quickly if you don't have the proper containment for
Refrigeration.
it and stuff like that. It goes bad because you do a pop-up site, and let's just say enough people that you expected. Let's say you 10 vials, 100 people.
Yeah.
Right? 10 vials, no. Yeah. 10 vials, 100
people.
100 people. So let's just say 60 people show up. So you don't have that 100 people, so that excess gets wasted if you don't have the proper refrigeration or the capacity to keep it.
Right.
Past the time that you're supposed to, give it out. So then what I find is then they'll go out in the street or whoever comes with anybody. Oh, do you need a shot? Do you need a shot? But that's only after you did not advertise it properly. Because if you advertise properly and you use the structure set in place, the information will get out there.
Got you.
And what I found also, you have a number on a flyer, then you can call the NYC vaccine number, and they all for the same place. But what they're doing, when you call them, they're just going through like a Rolodex to see where you could fit in.
Okay.
But there's no real saying like, okay, we're going to make appointments only for this site, so this is the number that you call. It's not like that at all. It's not reaching the people like it should.
So what's interesting is the place you went, it wasn't in NYCHA. Like
it was NYCHA. It was,
but it was in NYCHA, like in your complex?
In community center.
In the community center.
Yes, in NYCHA. Carmen has one. It's a couple of other sites in NYCHA developments, and that's where they have it. It was a senior site that also had it. I think it was King's Towers.
Okay.
That's where they're really concentrating on are the senior developments.
Yes.
Because they also, when the site was coming before Johnson Houses, they had let me know the day before, you could go over to Isaac's and go get the vaccine. Let your seniors know. But wait a minute. Why, if you knew it was going to be at Isaac's? Because I'm like, before they offered me Isaac's Houses, right? They wanted one in Washington, but unfortunately, our community center isn't up and proper, right? They were sending my residents to Yankee Stadium.
Oh.
That's in a total another borough.
Yeah.
You're talking about seniors.
Yeah.
Because you were saying 65 and older to travel in the cold. And at that time when they were doing it was in the cold.
Right.
So, again, it's just the process, and we here as the residents are advocating for a better process.
Okay. Got it. So my question now is, in terms of health issues in NYCHA, since we're here, right? Since we're here with the health situation, right? We're talking about COVID. We're talking about, I believe because we have a lot of minorities in NYCHA that we're dealing with a lot of people that have underlying causes.
Not just underlying causes, mental health.
Big thing in NYCHA.
Is the biggest.
Really?
For everyone. And why I say that is...
Please. Now I'm like, yeah, okay. I always thought it was asthma.
I was talking to somebody, right? And they were explaining to me, and the way they said it, I was like, wait a minute, why I never thought that? A NYCHA to prison system. You don't want to correlate it to the school to prison system, but it's a NYCHA to prison system, right? Because of all the mental anguish that you go through living in public housing.
Right.
You understand? Like everything you go through just to get things fixed in your apartment. Then you're dealing with everyday life stresses. And then here comes COVID and everything stops. You lose your money. You have to stay inside. You have to deal with children. If you have children, and even if you don't have children and your neighbors have children, their children have been home all day. You have to worry about food, putting food on your table. Yeah. You had to figure out if you lost your job and in the beginning of the pandemic, remember, it took people close to 4 months before they was able to access their unemployment.
Yep, I remember that.
So when you talk about all of that and you bring it down, and then even us who are out there on the grounds, servicing the people, doing the community service, we are at a mental break at some point in time, because then we start picking at each other. Everything gets you angry. And I'm just realizing that, you know what? This comes from what we've been impacted by. You have zero tolerance. You don't have any more tolerance. You lack common sense. How many times have you been like, oh my God? Like, oh my God. Like, why did they do it? You have to think about a person's situation. You have to think about what triggered that.
Right. So you're saying there's more in depth than the surface of what you see of the action. It's what's behind the action.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So think about it. You're a couple. You're in the household. You start, like, little things start aggravating you. Eventually, that could be mental abuse, physical abuse. Who you gonna call? It's nobody outside to reach out to.
Right.
Because everybody's in the middle of a pandemic.
Right.
So it's not just nature. It's everyone.
I mean,
this has forced people into retirement.
And divorce is up.
Yes.
Divorce and relationships are up, and and that's due to the fact that you know what? Here you are. Before you would go out and you would work, right? And you're out 8 hours a day, so you were not with your spouse for 8 hours a day. So that's a straight 8. Then maybe it takes you about 2 hours in terms of travel time, right? So 10 hours. You aren't even with this person. You've been doing this for years now, right? You've been married. You've been doing this for years. All of a sudden, breaks. And even your children. You don't even know your children. Because your children are in school and you're apart from them the same 10 hours a day, right? All of a sudden, you're all put right into this small box.
Yes.
And you can't leave.
Then you got leaks. Then you have garbage. Then you got roaches, rats, and
stuff that you used to leave 10 hours a day.
Thank you.
Right. Now you're living in it and you're like, oh my God, I either you didn't know or it didn't bother you because you didn't have to pay attention.
Thank you. You pay, and see, that's the thing too. Now you have nothing but time to pay attention to that stuff. Nothing but time. And then some of us have been enlightened because, again, here it is. You go to work. You really don't understand, because like I say, it's more than just getting things fixed in your apartment. It goes towards the economic job opportunities in your community. Because now you lost your job might not be coming back. Now you're unemployed and you're looking for work. Where are the resources to help you get back? I think what needs to happen, we need to pull. Every community needs to have a booklet of every person in their community who is offering services, so you know who and what to do. It's sort of like in NYCHA, when you first moved there, what I heard was they gave you a booklet, right? And it let you know where your local precincts were. Stuff like that, schools and stuff like that. We need a resource to say, well, this organization, if you're looking for adult learning centers, and if you look at the results from the New York City data, community data, right? It will show you what demographic in whatever you're looking for. It will show you like how many people in your community have lack of education, the age bracket. Right. So why I say that, specifically in my community, what I find is we have a lot of organizations that are geared towards seniors and youth. And when you looked at that data, who was published in 2018, it specifically said the high school graduation rate was over 80% in this community. The people who needed the GED, just educational services, were between the ages of 26 to 37. So when you look into your community, you don't have anyone servicing that demographic. And if you're not servicing that demographic, you're not building your community. Because you concentrated on youth when, it should be youth programs out there. But in order for them, all right, perfect point and example. I'm a mother. I raise my children. My brother just so happened to live with me, right? He might have been in prison and he comes home. He might have a GED, right? Let's just hope he did. So he has a GED. Here it is. I might be trying to gear my son towards getting more in life. He'll tell me, well, Theo got a GED. I got a high school diploma. I made it. Why do I have to? You know why? Because if we offer Theo, the uncle, an opportunity to do more and elevate.
To do better, yeah.
And elevate, guess what? You're creating a role model and something for the nephew to strive for.
Sure.
So if we not helping our community in the way it needs to be helped, and when I say help, I mean, you have to delve in and get the statistical data that is out there to understand what your community needs, because every community needs are different. They're different.
You know what it sounds like you about to talk about? It sounds like you about to talk about how we need to get some of this $40 billion thing that they're talking about. What's going on with this thing? Now, I heard a little bit about it. I haven't been able to really sort of access the information. Mm-hmm. What is happening with this $40 billion thing that they're supposed to be doing for NYCHA, or is it for NYCHA?
It's not for NYCHA.
Okay.
It's for all of public housing. The $40 billion was put into the Joe Biden's budget for public housing throughout the United States. That $40 billion would not be dedicated solely to public housing. That $40 billion, to NYCHA public housing. Okay. Now, you look at that number, $40 billion is what's out there to fix just NYCHA alone. So just imagine $40 billion trying to be distributed throughout all of public housing, throughout all of the United States. It's not enough. Right. The new HUD regional director, she asked for more money. She wants $100 billion. That's what she said is needed to address homelessness. When you talk about HUD, it encompasses not just public housing, it's all housing that it encompasses, whether it be the Section 8, Section 9, homelessness, and so on and so forth. So that $40 billion will only be a drop in the bucket to what we need. Because
we're chopping up $40 billion with the rest of the country.
Exactly.
So maybe let's say NYCHA might get,
let's be nice and say 1.5 billion. 1.5
billion, maybe. Mm-hmm. For okay, I see. Okay.
And that's what Cuomo promised us. That's what we hit the street for that $2 billion from the mayor. Mm-hmm. The problem is you cannot keep dumping money into a structure that is not efficient in giving the services in which it is entitled to do. Right. Yes. You understand? So even if we got the $40 billion, who you gonna give it to, NYCHA?
Right.
Therein lies the problem. You see what I mean? Is
the problem being, go ahead.
The problem being NYCHA itself. You have someone with very little oversight. It's like the Wild Wild West.
Okay.
And NYCHA are the outlaws.
Right.
And they winning. Mm-hmm. They're winning. They running the town. Because no matter how many audits that has been brought up against them, when has anyone ever really been held accountable? So you have to work on that structure of accountability piece. You cannot say you want more money and keep throwing it into a pit.
Right.
And then hoping that it would fill up.
Right. That
or
something
cover
will happen.
Everything.
Yeah,
no. Right. And then night part of the agreement of why the monitors by HUD appointed the NYCHA monitor, Bob Swartz, to us, right, was for this oversight, and they were supposed to do a transformation plan, which is a part of the blueprint. So now, here it is. Bob Schwartz has approved this transformation plan, which is not bad. But when you look at the structure, it's the same people with different titles.
Okay.
So all they're doing is moving people around and changing their titles, but you're not getting rid of the people that are doing
That are
the
causing the
destruction.
problem. Right.
So
Okay.
you have to just look at this whole picture. Look at the picture as a whole. And as a resident, you have to pick a direction in which you want to fight this. Because yes, we need things fixed in our apartments. And that's the main thing, everybody. But it's more than that, okay? Because once your apartment is fixed, where's the money for the upkeep of the maintenance?
Sure.
Okay,
Sure.
and we already know that the federal government, who initially created NYCHA, they're not giving enough to even upkeep it. So we have to figure that out, right? And the answer to that would be the residents, empowering them, giving them the opportunity to be able to maintain their own.
Okay.
The biggest investment right now, and everybody doesn't want to say it, you have to invest in the residents. It's going to be a slow process. It's not something that is rushed, but you have to invest in the families that live in public housing, period. Because investing in them is investing in the future of public housing being as it is. We have plenty of great stories. You know, we all want to move out. We all want better. Those of us who don't want to move out is because they love their communities and they deserve a right to be there.
Let me see here. Cynthia says it's never going to work until a group of resident leaders are appointed to oversee the spending of any money NYCHA receives.
Yep.
So what we're saying is NYCHA itself, the system is inherently corrupt.
Absolutely.
Got it. So if we were going to invest in the residents, right? I'm playing devil's advocate, right? Mm-hmm. Where would we put that money? Would it be in the programs? Because I remember there was a program in the 80s that if you lived in NYCHA, you could take like classes in maintenance, and building maintenance and stuff like that. Okay.
It's still there.
And then you could actually get a job in NYCHA.
It's still there.
Doing that. Okay.
And yeah, shout out right now. NYCHA is hiring all their seasonal workers. Put them applications in. And y'all presidents, y'all know, y'all get 2 people. Every president gets to nominate 2 people that are definite to get those jobs. So talk to your resident council presidents. If you want that.
So right now, the seasonal workers can now become permanent workers of the city.
Absolutely.
Wow.
No.
Okay.
That all seasonal have an opportunity to become permanent. But for the summer, every summer, you as a resident council, if somebody comes to you and be like, hey, I want to do, this is what I want, you could recommend them. And that's a permanent position. Well, that's a permanent job. I'm not saying a permanent position with the job, but once we recommend you, they're going to call you. You're going to be put to work. So far within the 6 years that I know, Washington Houses has put 5 permanent workers on that NYCHA. Mm-hmm. So that needs to be out there. It just started applications. If your management hasn't reached out to you, you go to management. Go get them applications. Put them in for them jobs. That's a city job, y'all. That's a real job.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a city
That's
job
one
with
benefits right now.
That's with benefits. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
That's a career, and they give you opportunities to move up once you're in NYCHA.
Right.
And that's what I want to shout out to, because we have a shout out to the workers. Let me tell you something. We always have our good, our bad, and our ugly, but let me tell you something. Every single day, and I don't care what complaint you might have, your staff shows up. That NYCHA staff shows up.
NYCHA staff consisting of who?
Consisted of the groundskeepers, consisted of the people who are in your buildings. Whether you complain if they clean properly or not, they show up. They show up for work. And a lot of them haven't been trained. And that's what we need to understand. Yeah. NYCHA is very delinquent in how it puts process out, how it oversees the process, and follow up. You understand? So you can't blame them.
And I want to be clear on that. And for those of you guys that are attacking the maintenance men and the groundskeepers and so on and so forth, you got to stop that, because here's the deal. They got thrown into a job, and that was it, and there was no training involved. There was no, which is also a deliberate thing that NYCHA does, to have subpar workers or workers that could be great workers, but they make them subpar.
They overwork them.
But they don't even train them to do the job properly. Right? This is one of the tricks that NYCHA does. So I'm only saying that to say that, stop beating up on the maintenance guys. Stop beating up on the groundskeeper. They're just trying to do the best they can do based on the situation they've been thrown into.
Thank you. Do you think they want to come to your apartments? Do you think they want to come and clean? Think about the stuff that they clean up in your hallways and all the things you find disgusting. They're the ones that's picking it up.
Sure.
And y'all like to say they get paid for it. Yes, they do. That's their job. But you know what? You can help with that too.
Sure enough.
Take responsibility and stop doing that.
And that is the other thing you have to do. You know what I'm saying? I know we all, living in NYCHA and so on and so forth. But here's the deal. If each one of you actually swept up in front of your own doorway, you wouldn't have a dirty hallway. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no crime in that. You know what I'm saying? We used to do that. We used to do that when you lived on a block. Everybody did their little piece of their little home, and then the next person did that, and guess what? Your block was clean.
There you go.
You ain't got to clean the next person's thing, but if you clean your own thing, you'll get a whole hallway that's clean. Put it like
this. Everybody always cry for cameras, right?
Uh-huh.
Let's say NYCHA started monitoring those cameras and started watching all that stuff flying out that window, calling these people in. You know how many people are in violation of their lease because they continuously do that? And y'all guys know who I'm talking to. You understand what I'm saying? We need y'all to stop that.
What did they throw out the window?
Listen, Rock, don't go there. Stop playing.
I didn't even know people did this.
Listen, I'm going to give you a quick story, right?
All right, I'll take it.
One time, this about, and I told it in my leadership class, and my professor couldn't believe it. So I will tell you, stop peeing out the window. Stop it.
Are you serious?
They urinate out the window. And guess what? When you on a high floor, gravity goes down, right?
Yeah,
and what's underneath? Your air conditioners. I'm pretty sure there's some people who could relate to this story where they covered their air conditioner up all winter and it's nice and neat and everything. So you take it out, right? It's that one hot day and you like, okay, I don't want to pull the whole thing out. I'm just going to clean the face of it all.
Yeah.
OMG. I turned it on, left the house, and came back. When I tell you it smelled like a dirty diaper in my apartment because all the pee that was on the inside of my air conditioner, yeah, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it.
From someone peeing out the window and landing on your AC.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
But you know what? These are the people that I still fight for because you know what? It's not my fault that you lack home training.
Yeah.
Like for real, because that's not something that's taught.
Nah.
That's a learned behavior.
That's
wild. A learned behavior.
That's wildlife. That didn't make any sense.
Thank
Cynthia
you.
said, I just got my email asking for my recommendations. There you go.
See?
Yep.
Thank you, Cynthia. Yep.
Yeah.
So we help them get their jobs too. And this is something that I'm going to ask all presidents, right? Because I was thinking about that and it makes a lot of sense. We're in the middle of a pandemic. I need help. I'm going to see how we as resident councils can get SYEP to come in and help us for this summer. Like, even if they're just doing paperwork in your office, they're learning lots of skills for you. So, I'm looking into seeing how I could get my resident council, because I do have an up and running resident youth council. I'm trying to see how I can get them through SYEP to come and
SYEP
work
is what?
Summer youth employment.
Okay.
Summer youth employment, because they always looking for sites. So I'm encouraging you to apply for summer youth employment workers so we can put some of these kids to work. We always need help with the flyering. We always need help with just basic things, even in the office. I mean, those kids are very intelligent. I want to have some work my Twitter, my Instagram, and just for the development and give them that opportunity to get involved.
Right.
You know, I mean, whether they give me that or not, I'm still going to try and find a stipend for my kids. But that's just an alternative that I'm going to put out there.
So other TA presidents could do this. Is that what you're saying?
I want them to. That way, I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, it
kids
seems like
need jobs.
Yeah, you know what?
They
And I
need
think it's a great.
sites.
You know what? And I think it's a good way to get them off the streets.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? If you don't want the kids off the streets, then you know what? Then why don't you have them? Why don't you get the program in your development?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
on your campus.
Yeah, on your campus. Like let's get that going. I think that makes sense.
Come on,
Plus,
these kids like money.
Yeah, and then they're learning a skill. You know what I'm saying? They're learning response. A small drop in the bucket, but some fiscal responsibility. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Of working and having your own money. You know what I'm saying? We can't take this for granted, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I was blessed to understand fiscal responsibility early because of who my father was. You know what I'm saying? My father was like, yo, I mean, basically from the time I was able to breathe, I had a job. You know what I'm saying? I started working at 9. You know, this is my dad. You know what I'm saying? So, I learned fiscal responsibility really early. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of kids don't have that opportunity. So what happens? You don't understand, if I go to work, I make money. Okay, you don't understand that. Now you're out trying to steal money. You're trying to sell drugs to get money.
You want that quick money.
You want that quick money.
That don't last.
And that don't last.
Speaking of that, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to my kids, man, on the block. I'm a shout out on the block because they came to me with an amazing plan. And let me tell y'all, we gonna talk about this, not this show, but we gonna talk about this marijuana stuff that's going on because it's legalized in New York now. Those dispensaries and everything is coming on.
Chiba.
Let me tell you something. My homies, they came to me and they gave me a plan and said, this is what it is. We need your help. And you know, I'll shout out to y'all because I'm coming to help y'all. We need as much money in our community, and they showed interest because you know what? These are their communities too. Let's help them.
Yeah, you know what? And when the youth want to get involved, then you got to involve them.
Absolutely.
Or they become disillusioned. You know what I'm saying? So when they want to get involved, you got to be like, yo, you know what? Come on, I got you.
That's right. They went and they did that research, so I'm waiting to see what's going to happen with that. I'm really excited. I'm proud of them because they came to me. They looked to me and they said, look, we need your help.
We got an idea.
Yeah, and they have it on paper. And I'm like, you know
like
what?
They actually they drew up a plan?
They drew up a plan. They got legislation. I mean, and that's what I'm talking about, y'all. We find gems. We don't overlook those gems in our community. Just because we end up in bad situations doesn't mean we're bad people. And stop judging. You understand? I just want us to start really looking at ourselves and wanting to do better. It's nothing with coming outside and saying good morning or hello to your neighbor. Let's stop, always, what you looking at. We got to really, 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 really look at what we want for our future in our communities and really start exhibiting that behavior.
Yeah.
That I can't stress that more than ever.
I agree.
Yeah.
I want to give a big shout out to Manny Martinez. Big shout out to Manny, who's normally on the show.
Mi hermano.
Suffered a little incident, so he's, under the weather for a little bit.
Yeah. We gonna Manny, we putting our prayers out there for you. I'm not gonna put your business out there, but y'all pray for Manny.
100%.
He is well, but he has some issues going on, and we just gonna pray for good health
100.
and speedy recovery.
100.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I like where this is going. This is sort of
come on, y'all gonna have me for a while.
This is such an intimate conversation, really. You know what I'm saying? What's the plans? Listen, it's 2021. What are your plans for your development? What are your hopes for NYCHA? You have a new administration. Who's the new person running HUD, by the way?
I forgot her name.
Right.
I could pull it up.
Yeah, in the chat room. Who's the new person running HUD?
Cynthia.
Who's running HUD now? Because Ben Carson is out, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Lynn Patton is out.
Okay.
Everybody is out. Here she is. But either way, Marcia Fudge. I didn't want to mess her name up, and I wanted to get it correct. The new HUD regional director is Marcia Fudge for HUD. And she's the one that asked for the $100 billion boost to the already $40 billion. So in all essence, she wants $140 billion.
Do we have any background on her, where she came from, or anything like that?
I'll figure that out. No,
Yeah.
I haven't.
Like, I'm just sort of curious because she seems very pro-NYCHA.
No, as far as I know, she has been in this background. She's a lawyer. She's very educated in this itself, in housing policy. So we have a strong advocate. I would love to have a conversation with her. I feel real positive.
Okay.
And I'm gonna be real. She a person of color and she's a woman. So I'm hoping that we get better.
Okay.
We get better at this. I also want to give a shout out to Chuck Schumer. Okay. Chuck Schumer will be over by Washington Houses tomorrow, along with Nydia Velasquez and a couple of other representatives.
Nice.
They're stepping up to the plate. There's supposed to be a press conference again, in wanting more money. We need more funding, not more money, but more funding.
Right.
So with the more funding, we could figure everything else out.
I shall press upon you to please, if you can, if you have it in your power, please get like a quick interview with Chuck.
Definitely.
Get an interview with Chuck.
I love the Chuck. Like, don't play. That's my guy. You know what I'm getting ready to say? It's like the Chucky movie. Don't mess with the Chuck. You understand what I'm saying? I love my Chuck Schumer.
I
like
this.
For real. That is like. I respect him, and he's from the grounds. I've had meetings where we've had group meetings one-on-one with him. I mean, he's a really great guy. Okay. Like, he's a fighter.
Okay.
And like I said, don't mess with the Chuck.
Oh, man. All right.
I'm excited. Oh, what I have planned for my development, right?
What's new? What's happening?
Right now, Washington Houses, and some of you might feel me on this, we have a new management and new assistant management. So a lot of the relationship that I had with my previous manager, she kind of spoiled us. I could just like call her and things would happen. So I will say that I want to develop a relationship with my management, because that's really important. It's really important that you guys work together. So hopefully she is open, but even if she's not, I have, we're gonna get incorporated, y'all, along with other TAs. I'm gonna give a shout out to Beverly, Stanley, Taft, all of us coming together. So basically, we're all incorporating, getting all of our 501c3s together, because what people need to understand, the first step to resident management, you must be a 501c3. So if I was sitting here preaching about resident management and I'm not following the steps myself, I don't want to be a hypocrite. I am always true to my word, and I will tell you, I stand by it. So I am taking the first step towards resident management. And I will say again, resident management means you're taking over the responsibility from NYCHA. And if you look at resident management, it covers so many different things. It doesn't mean taking over full management of your development all at one time. You do it in increments. It can happen. And even if your resident management doesn't lead to full takeover, listen like this, right? Right now, as resident councils, we have resources. We connect the people to resources. So guess what? We are consultants. So we should start under the incorporation now on a consultation fee. You see what I'm saying? Not only that, we could start bidding for those trainings and start giving those trainings that people put proposals in for, which is NYCHA funding. See, and these are things that, the residents really don't understand. These are more what the presidents and the councils go through. So whenever you want to have an event and people talk about this tenant participation activity funding, you have to put it in a proposal. And in the proposal, it clearly states what it is you want to do, how you're going to do it, what you need to purchase, what you're going to purchase, right? Once you put in that proposal, it has to go through 4 different people to get approved. So that's why they tell you got to put it in 30 days before you want to throw an event.
Okay.
So you put that proposal in, it goes through whoever it goes through, and then it comes back to you once it's approved, and that's how you're able to receive the funding. And what it is, they give you the funding on a card, and I want to bring that up. So they give you the funding on the card, and that's how you're able to purchase the items for the activity in which you want to do with the residents. So it's not a direct access. Even though we have a card, they still control it and monitor it. So again, if there's any mismanagement, NYCHA. Because I know if I buy something and my receipt pop up that I purchased something else, they calling me. So, the mismanagement is not coming from the resident councils. That process is tedious within itself. We're gonna be out there more. This season is summertime. I really want to do more intergenerational events. We also have stuff coming up with climate change. For those of you who don't know, Washington Houses is one of the first and only developments to have an emergency preparedness booklet geared towards just Washington Houses alone. And they're planning on expanding this program. I've been in contact with Climate Resiliency. NYCHA has reached out to me to start initiating it, because think about it, right? If there's ever a fire in your development, do you really know what to do? If they had to evacuate the entire building, we don't have fire drills.
No.
We don't know where our local shelter center is, where you're going to go in case of emergency. So these are things that, we all should be looking into and gearing it towards our communities. And again, we need to follow back up. We need to put pressure on our elected so that we can get all these CBOs to give out the information and put it in one general space.
Quick thing in the chat room. Okay, Carmen says, been preaching 501c3 for the longest. Let's do it. Been preaching, let's do it. Have Carmen says, oh boy, okay. Oh, Brenda done kicked in. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Oh wait, all right. Have Carmen says, had mine for 5 years.
That's right.
Brenda
Ms. Temple, we can't apply for those grants now. You can take over your community center. We always talk about we want our community centers back. Apply for those grants that those CBOs in your community apply for. Guess what? You'll get it. And you can run your own community centers. So it's simple things just like that. And Carmen, y'all say the 501c3, but I will tell you, it's not too many people or lawyers who want to deal with NYCHA because they have such a
Oh, you got a new like. Hold on. Brenda Temple, she liked it. See, Brenda, it comes up on the screen. That's what happens when you'll click the like button. We see it happen. Yep, go ahead.
But yeah, lawyers and agencies don't want to deal with us because NYCHA has a tendency not to pay their bills on time.
Oh, okay. All right.
See, so it's certain stores, even though we have our card for those TPA funds, it's on certain stores we can't shop in, like Costco.
She's like, not Costco.
Yeah.
Just Costco. I got you. There goes the like. You have a new follower. There you go.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, who's that? Phyllis Morales.
Hey, Ms.
now
Morales.
following me. What's up, bro?
Shout out. Thank you. I just want to thank y'all for tuning in. I'm really trying to figure this out for myself. I want this to be influential. I want it to be inclusive, and I want everybody to have input. You know, I just want us to have a space where we can express ourselves and collaborate. Like I said, we already started talking policy. If y'all don't understand that policy isn't very technical, just from the counterparts of what we were talking about, building the bridges of how we're gonna how we want the summer youth to be included. That's a policy right there, and we already have the structure. We will be.
Sorry. Who liked it?
Listen.
Yes. Leah Reyes, she loved it.
Yes, Lena. Hey, thank y'all for tuning in. But yeah, Rock, stop interrupting me.
I'm sorry. Like, it ain't me, it's the people. The people loving the show right now.
Yeah, and I love them, but you know, I want to make sure you know my mom be like every 50,000 places, and I lose track. So excuse me, y'all, if y'all see me saying that, but I'm just getting used to this too. Yeah. And you guys are my family. You know, whether I know you, I know y'all. I know your story. You understand what I'm saying? So all of you are my family. And I'm not going to let nobody mess with my family. I will fight with my family, but nobody else could fight with my family. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm the type of person, I want y'all to come as you are. I want y'all to have this space. And if I'm out of pocket, put it up in that chat. You understand what I'm saying? Put it up in that chat. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I ain't going to say nothing. All right, Cynthia Tim, she likes it. Okay, there you go. Go ahead.
You know, this is our show, Mi Gente, okay? And actually, I want to include Spanish on this, and I promise y'all, I'm going to get better with my Spanish, because if I tell y'all, like, I can understand it. And the reason for that is, right? And my mother going to say, tú es mala, right? So one of the reasons why I understand Spanish, but I don't speak it, is because in my household, when my mother first came over here, she was learning English for herself and stuff, right? So as she had us and I got older, she would only speak it when they didn't want us to understand what they were saying. So I would just sit around and hear it. And I think I started understanding it. So I think I never spoke it because I didn't want her to know that I understood it. So it kind of like followed me through adulthood.
Life.
Yes, because I mean, even in my comunidad, like even when I speak it to my Spanish speaking fellow people, they be like, oh my God, you sound so nice. Like, why you don't speak it more often? And it's just like psychological with me, I guess. But I will work on that for y'all. I promise y'all. You understand? And I'm not gonna say I'm a Latinx. I am a black girl with Latin roots.
There you go.
Because we all from Africa.
Believe it. Mm-hmm. Well, with that being said, we have hit our hour, baby.
Look at that. I will see y'all next week. Thank you for tuning in. And I promise we're going to be more and more and more. And y'all just is, thank you, family.
I have a question. Do you want to start at 3 o'clock next? It seemed like everyone kind of kicked in at 3 o'clock.
Listen,
do you want to start at 3?
Listen, I'm going to leave it to my audience. Y'all tell me when y'all want me to be here. Right now it's 2 o'clock. Y'all want to? I'm gonna keep it 2 till y'all put it in that chat room and tell me 3 o'clock. How about that?
That's fair. That's fair game.
I'm gonna save you a parking spot. Watch. I'm gonna show you old school. Remember when we used to put the bottles? People are too lazy to get out
and block it. That's right. That's right. I'm trying to tell you. Listen, it's always a pleasure, Claudia. Yeah. Good seeing you. You know what? And I know. Listen, I know it's hard to kind of do like almost a monologue, really, because you know I give you minimum input, but I'm like, all right, well, because I have questions. You know what I'm saying?
You're supposed to.
But I mean, at the end of the day, you're capable of carrying the show. This Mi Gente thing, My People thing.
It's about to kick off.
Yeah, I see it expanding
merch.
And getting bigger.
I want merch. Yeah. I want y'all to get y'all mugs so y'all can sip some tea with me, cafe, all of that.
And just so you'll see, right? Okay, while you're still there, on one side of the mug, we're gonna have mi gente, my people, me people, right? My people, right? On the other side, you see that I'm gonna have that Boardwalk Global Media right there on the other side, right there. So we're gonna have the mi gente, me people, and then the Boardwalk Global Media logo without the flyer, just the logo. So we're gonna do that, and we're gonna make some nice. Yeah. So Lena's like 3:00, Mama. Mm-hmm.
All
Come back.
right.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes during the week.
Lena, where you from? I don't know if she's still there, but I'm going to catch up with her.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to shout out everybody.
Word up. So we're going to catch y'all next week, all right?
Absolutely.
All right, that's a bet, y'all.